It's interesting the way that there's a viewpoint that it's the Prime Minister Netanyahu who is really going ahead, for example, taking part in all these aggressive military maneuvers inside the Gaza Strip or elsewhere. And you mentioned the year 1996. I'm guessing you're referring to that strategy, which was called the clean break, a new strategy for securing the realm. Looking and sifting through the details behind it, it seems like this was a U.S. blueprint, if I'm correct in saying that, for the Prime Minister Netanyahu. He was a newly elected Prime Minister back then, correct? In order for it to be an American satellite state in the Middle East or West Asia. So are we looking at him being directed somewhat by being given a blueprint that these are the types of things that you should do, and in some sense taking directives from the U.S., but I'm sure the Prime Minister Netanyahu puts in his 2 cents when it comes down to a variety of things that are being done?
It's an interesting question. Who's using who? Was this the neocons using Israel, or is this Israel using the neocons? If I had to adjudicate between the two theories, I'd say it's Israel using the neocons, that this is an Israel agenda. It's true, Clean Break was written with American advisors, but American advisors very close to the Israeli right wing. This wasn't, say, the Pentagon writing a blueprint for Netanyahu. This was a political plan written by American right-wingers with Netanyahu to basically justify Netanyahu's political movement. Remember, the Likud, in its founding charter in 1977, said from the Jordan River to the sea, Israel will have sovereignty. And that is Netanyahu's goal since 1997, and no doubt before then, and his fathers, and the tradition that he comes from politically. So I think the clean break doctrine is basically a doctrine of the Likud extreme Zionist right-wing movement. And the idea is very clear. The idea is Israel will keep control over all of what was the British Mandatory Palestine. That will lead to opposition, including militant opposition by groups like Hamas and Hezbollah and others. Outside governments will support those militant movements like Iran, but the list was much longer than Iran, like Saddam Hussein or Muammar Gaddafi and others. And then it is the job of the United States to get rid of those other regimes. That's the idea of clean break. In other words, full Israel control over mandatory Palestine, or we could say today, permanent control over the occupied lands, kill the two-state solution, and the United States will be the agent of that militarily. And we know that there was a list of 7 wars that were part of this idea that was concocted probably the late 90s, but known immediately after 9/11, 2001. And that list was Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Iran, Sudan, Somalia, and Libya. And there have been wars in all 7 countries now. This is the sense in which I think it's really Israel's agenda that the United States, for many reasons, has supported, but that it is kind of Likud's agenda. Do you think, I mean, I was putting it rhetorically, does one think that America has some strong interest in preventing a state of Palestine in Gaza, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem? Of course not. That would be both sensible, according to international law, and be irrelevant from America's interests. This is an extremist Israel agenda, not an American agenda. And the idea is that war is the way to bring it about.